The clock struck 12, and the silence of the bedroom shattered. On the wall above the headboard, the wallpaper began to blister and peel away, revealing not plaster, but a frame of silver light. Liam sat bolt upright, his pulse hammering against his ribs. The symbols carved into the glowing border shifted like liquid, twisting into patterns that defied the geometry of the room. He moved to the edge of the bed, his feet finding the cold floorboards as he reached out. His fingertips hovered inches from the light, feeling a vibration that rattled his teeth. The air in the room dropped 10 degrees in a heartbeat, his breath blooming in white plumes. The silver frame groaned, the sound of grinding stone echoing in the small space, and the center of the light pulled inward. A door emerged where there had only been shadow. It was not painted. It was forged from the same pulsing luminescence as the frame. Liam stood, his hands trembling as he gripped the handle. It was freezing, biting into his skin, yet he did not pull away. He took a single step forward, the door creaking open just enough to reveal a sliver of impossible shifting space beyond. Liam pulled the door wide and stepped through. The floor of his bedroom vanished beneath his boots, replaced by a smooth, obsidian surface that stretched into infinity. He stumbled, arms windmilling to find balance in a space that lacked up or down. Gravity here felt thin, barely tethering him to the ground. He looked back, but his bedroom was gone, replaced by a wall of swirling mist. He turned, and the scale of the place hit him like a physical blow. The corridor was a canyon of shadows, lined with thousands upon thousands of doors stretching into the dark. Some were crafted from heavy iron, others from polished glass or rotting wood, each vibrating with a low, rhythmic hum. He walked forward, his footsteps echoing against the floor, with a hollow, metallic ring. The air was dry and tasted of ozone. He stopped in front of a door that shimmered with a pale, golden glow, his reflection caught in its surface. He was small, a speck of dust in this vast, floating architecture. Yet the familiar ache of loneliness that had defined his life began to dissolve. For the first time in years, the silence did not feel heavy. It felt like an invitation. Liam took another step toward the golden door, but his boot heel clicked against the floor with a sound that felt too loud. The echo didn't die. It lingered, then twisted into a rasping, dry cough. A figure detached itself from the darkness beside a door of rusted iron. He was thin, his presence barely displacing the stagnant air. He watched Liam with eyes that seemed to hold the reflection of 1,000 dying suns. Liam backed away, but his legs felt heavy, as if the floor were trying to anchor him in place. The man raised a hand, fingers long and steady, and pointed toward the row of vibrating doors. "You are looking for something that cannot be found in your world," the man said. His voice was like grinding stone. Liam opened his mouth, but no sound came out. The man gestured to the surrounding corridor, his gaze fixed on Liam's chest. "This place connects unfinished hearts. Every door here is a debt of regret, a silence that never found its end." He stepped closer, the shadows clinging to his form like smoke. "Be careful what you reach for, boy. Some doors are meant to stay shut, and the path you walk is paved with things people were never brave enough to say." The man vanished into the gloom, leaving Liam alone with the hum of the doors. Liam walked back to the golden door. The label glowed with a soft, steady pulse. He reached out, his hand hovering over the handle, feeling the warmth radiating from the metal against his cold skin. He took a breath, turned the knob, and pushed. The door swung inward, and the oppressive silence of the corridor was instantly replaced by the muffled clatter of silverware and the scent of burnt toast and coffee. He stepped over the threshold and his boots hit linoleum, not obsidian. The light was golden, slanted, and thick with dust motes dancing in the air. He was in his own kitchen, but it was bright, alive, and humming with a morning rhythm he had not heard in years. His father sat at the small wooden table, a newspaper spread out before him, his fingers tapping a steady beat against the ceramic mug. The man looked up, his face breaking into a wide, easy grin that erased the years of silence. Liam stood frozen, his chest tight, watching as his father gestured to the empty chair. The cold of the hallway sloughed off his skin as he moved toward the table, the weight of the void dissolving into the simple, grounding reality of the moment. He sat, and the world narrowed down to the sound of his father's voice. Minutes stretched into hours, yet the sunlight never moved across the linoleum. Liam watched his father laugh at a story he had forgotten, the sound filling the room like water in a dry well. Then, the light stuttered. A single pulse of violet flickered across the walls, turning the warm yellow paint into jagged, shifting shadows. Liam blinked, and the coffee mug in his father's hand looked like it was made of smoke. His father stopped mid-sentence. His smile did not vanish, but it stretched too wide, too thin, as if he were fighting to hold his shape. The air in the room grew heavy, tasting of ozone and wet earth. "You cannot stay here," his father said, his voice dropping an octave, layered with a metallic vibration that did not belong to him. The walls began to tear, revealing slivers of the dark, infinite corridor behind the plaster. The kitchen was a fragile construct, and it was failing. His father leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the encroaching cracks in the ceiling. "The hallway feeds on regret, Liam. Every moment you spend here is a debt you cannot pay. The house is waking up, and it is hungry." He stood abruptly, his form blurring at the edges, the kitchen table beginning to dissolve into black dust. The floorboards groaned, a long, tearing sound that vibrated through the soles of Liam's feet before they simply vanished. A jagged mouth opened in the center of the kitchen, revealing a swirling, bottomless abyss of absolute black. Liam lunged forward, his fingers hooking into the fabric of his father's sleeve, his knuckles white with the desperate pressure of his grip. The kitchen table shattered into fine gray sand, drifting upward into the dark. Liam swung over the edge, his boots scraping against the vanishing rim of the floor as gravity pulled at his body. He stared down into the nothingness, the freezing wind from the corridor rushing up to meet him, smelling of rot and ancient dust. His father stood at the crumbling edge, his hand locked around Liam's wrist, his face a mask of urgent strain as the walls peeled away in long, vertical strips. The ceiling collapsed inward, leaving them suspended in a dying pocket of light. Liam felt his grip slipping, the fabric of the sleeve fraying under his frantic pull. Below them, the abyss roared, a sound like grinding stone, as the last of the linoleum floor disintegrated into the void, leaving them hanging over the endless dark. His father did not pull him up. Instead, he locked eyes with Liam, a final, sharp look of command, and shoved him hard against the chest. The force was unexpected, jarring the breath from Liam's lungs. He lost his grip on the sleeve and tumbled backward through the air. The golden light of the kitchen flared once, blindingly bright, before snapping shut like a closing eye. Liam hit the stone floor of the corridor hard, sliding on the smooth surface until his shoulders slammed into the opposite wall. He scrambled to his hands and knees, chest heaving, his fingers clawing at the cold, unforgiving rock. He spun around, gasping for air, but the wall was solid. The golden door was gone. There was only a blank, seamless expanse of gray stone where the exit had been seconds before. The silence of the corridor rushed back in, thicker and colder than before. Liam pressed his palms against the wall, but it was smooth and unyielding. He was alone. The floor beneath him vibrated, a low, rhythmic thrumming that suggested the corridor itself was beginning to contract. He forced himself to stand, his legs shaking, as the light in the hallway dimmed to a faint, sickly flicker. The old man stepped from the shifting shadows, his presence as cold as the stone beneath Liam's feet. The corridor walls began to ripple like water, the stone dissolving into fine, white sand that poured into the abyss. "The door is a poison," the man said, his voice grating against the silence. "You must close it inside your heart, or be consumed with it." Behind him, a single golden frame materialized in the empty air, vibrating with a warmth that felt like a physical pull. A voice drifted from the light, faint and strained, calling Liam's name one last time. It was the sound of a memory fighting to remain real. Liam took a step toward the glow, his pulse thudding against his ribs. He looked at his own hand, trembling, then back at the golden light that promised an impossible return. The hallway gave a violent shudder, the ceiling raining dust onto his shoulders. He felt the weight of the past dragging him toward the edge. He gritted his teeth, squeezed his eyes shut to block out the warmth, and twisted his body away. He stared at the blank, gray stone, his voice a ragged whisper in the dark. Goodbye. The light behind him shattered, the golden frame turning to ash, and the oppressive rumble of the corridor suddenly vanished into absolute perfect silence. The white light did not fade, it simply dissolved, leaving behind a profound, heavy stillness. Liam felt the sensation of falling, a brief, dizzying drop that ended in the soft resistance of a mattress. He gasped, his eyes snapping open. The ceiling was pale, familiar, and motionless. He lay still, his breath hitching in his chest as he waited for the floor to tremble or the air to freeze. But there was only the steady, rhythmic ticking of his alarm clock. A thin golden line of sunlight stretched across the floorboards, creeping toward his bedside table. He pushed himself upright, his muscles aching, as if he had run for miles. He looked toward the wall where the silver door had been. It was nothing more than plaster and paint, scarred by the passage of time and the dust of his bedroom. He reached out, his fingertips brushing the surface. It was solid, it was cold, it was ordinary. Outside, the distant sound of a car engine turning over signaled the start of the neighborhood's morning routine. He sat there for a long moment, the silence of the room no longer feeling like an absence, but like a clean, empty space waiting for him to fill it. He swung his legs over the side of the bed, his feet hitting the floor with a firm, grounded thud. Liam stepped into the kitchen, the floorboards groaning under his weight, as they always had. His mother stood by the counter, her movements practiced and fluid. She did not look up, but her shoulders relaxed as he approached. He moved to the drawer, pulled out a knife, and began to slice the bread. The blade moved, with a steady, rhythmic rasp against the wooden board. Each motion was deliberate, leaving no room for drifting thoughts. The heavy, suffocating pressure that had lived in his chest for so long was gone, replaced by the simple, grounding resistance of the work. He looked at his hands, steady and capable. He saw the sunlight hitting the steam rising from the coffee pot. He did not look toward the bedroom. He did not search for shadows on the wall. He finished the task, gathered the plates, and set them on the table. The silence of the house was no longer hollow. It was quiet, filled with the potential of the day ahead. He looked at his mother and nodded. There was work to be done, and for the first time, he was entirely present to do it. The door remained a memory, and he never asked for it to return.